back in the sketchbook, and we have a still life painting, floral painting that that I'm thinking about doing. Excuse me. That involves a bouquet of tulips in a vase. I'll show you a picture I snapped of it. But I'm having a hard time kind of understanding what sort of design will work well for this painting in the format that I have. It's a 22-inch by 28-inch panel that I've created. And I'm just going to show you my reference photo here. It's coming up. All right, there you go. So a nice bouquet of tulips in a vase. So I'm going to do this on a gessoed board in acrylics. And I could probably approach this quite literally. This photo is pretty high quality. The bouquet is still available for direct reference. So I can probably get it done, but what I'd like to do is play a little bit with the formatting here. So I'm going to do a couple of thumbnails. So, and I'm going to use these grayscale markers. And I've never used them before, but a lot of the painters that that I follow that are quite accomplished often will suggest the use of thumbnails, so I figured maybe I'll give it a shot. I've done it before, but never with a lot of care. Usually it's just a quick rough sketch. So let's see. Let's go. That's nice and crooked. That's all right. So I'm not being very scientific here, roughly scaling this down. It's about, I guess 1/10 scale, roughly, from that 22 by 28-inch format. And if you're new to the channel, just started doing an open studio live stream early in the morning. Sometimes I'm painting, sometimes I'm doing prep work like this. Sometimes I'm doing, more elaborate sketches in my sketchbook. This is really just an attempt to give myself the best shot at doing a good job with this next painting I have coming up, which hopefully I'll start tomorrow. And you can see we have these grayscale markers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it doesn't look like they're in order. When we think of our simplified value scale. The attempt here is to simplify, or the idea is to simplify a scene like this into its values without consideration of color, and kind of in the design phase, planning phase. So we're gonna give this a shot here and see if we can get a better understanding of what might work from a compositional standpoint with a super simple sketch. It's not too dark. Try a little bit off center. Bold, which is a little bit of an outlier. We have kind of a mess of a K. We have made that a little too big. That's okay. Some dark values. Some suggestion of the cabinetry work. Countertops. Maybe I'll keep that mug in the background. Hello, thanks for joining. Kind of a simple planning session here, just doing some thumbnail sketches in advance of starting a painting, which I'll probably do tomorrow. And probably can't tell quite yet, but what I'm planning on doing a painting of is a bouquet of tulips. And just by spending a little bit of time working out designs for, or ideas about the design, and ideas about the values that are going to be incorporated into the painting, hopefully will increase the chances for success. Never any guarantees. Still lifes and florals are not something that I spend a terrible amount of time on, but yeah, I've done a few of them. Definitely something I hope to get better at. The only way to get better at something is to practice, so. Here we are. Interestingly enough, I was doubtful that this would resonate with me, but I think this composition's not too bad. It's slightly lighter value here if I could find one. Excuse me. actual painting, maybe pops of green and pink, which we could play with. And there's a lot more going on in this photo, which I'll pull back into view here in a second. But as you can see, the simplified version of it can be pretty powerful. Sometimes simpler is better. And the challenge will be, we have all this detail in real life, but also in this reference photo. I have a larger format, 28 by 22 inches, which is decent size, that we'll be painting on. I'll definitely have the ability to incorporate these details, but in order for the painting to read well and have some punch and a little bit more of a universal appeal, I'll definitely benefit from simplifying. Maybe I'll bring in suggestion of these light sources. We have a sliding glass door here, and this lamp, and a window over here providing the light, in addition to hi-hat lights. But we'll see how it works out. Alright, where's my latest gray? That's my warmest gray. Let's see. Just gonna there's a little bit of a shadow, which I think I will use the strongest light source. Kind of a mixed. So if I were to break this into thirds, a little bit higher, right there. Kind of like that, because the center of central kind of point of interest is right in that upper right third quadrant. Secondary item here, kind of supporting cast, this mug close to the bottom third. You can see it's different than the actual photo because I took a picture of the way things were actually arranged. But that might be what I go with. Maybe I'll try one more. Just to experiment with another idea, and go ahead and get on with our day and kind of process this a little bit, and tomorrow morning we'll start our painting. All right, let's try it again. try it again. All right, we'll set this aside. All right. Not a perfect aspect ratio, but pretty close. The actual painting surface that we have prepared is 28 by 22 inch gesso board. Oops. And I'm repainting in acrylic. And we're just taking some extra care to plan, a little less experienced with still lifes, and design is something that I'm still kind of fumbling my way through. I tend to paint pretty intuitively. Let's see what this maybe. I really like this. If I were to stack rank, I would say this design first place so far. The actual photos themselves that I have to work with are probably right behind. Part of me likes this vantage point with the sink in the background and that light, but I'm leaning toward this. What do I want to experiment with here? Maybe I'll try aspects of the scene from this vantage point. I'll carefully mark out my thirds. Just so I have some idea about the orientation here. Let's see, maybe we'll try moving it to the left side. You notice in this one there's also the checkered pattern napkin. It might be interesting to add. And that small lamp. You can add one of the flowers. Come up and we can have the suggestion of the sink. Blurred out suggestion of maybe the appliances in the background and so on. Okay. So that's going to be the design roughly there with that. And these are markers. To rough in some of the simplified values. The latest values that are available are the white paper. Doing these sorts of sketches, starting from light values to dark values, maybe light mid works to your advantage. At least I find that to be the case, and then gradually getting darker. Morning. Kind of get a sense for how this is going to shape up. All right, 2 thumbnail sketches. Looking at elements of both. So I might incorporate elements of each of these into the painting, but the general design, the simplicity of this is a little bit more appealing. But we'll see. Tomorrow I'll kind of stew on this. Maybe I'll do another thumbnail sketch over the course of the day or so, but pretty much leaning toward this overall design. I can bring elements of each of these in. By this time tomorrow, I'm sure these will wilt a little bit and open up a little bit more, so that'll bring some interesting dynamism into the process, but leaning toward that design, and we'll see how it goes. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.